Carr has really been doing a good job since he's been in the NFL. Even when he was in college, he was really good. And so what we wanted to do is just make a quick video breakdown and show some of the things that he does really well in terms of his overall mechanics. So one of the most important things that seems like we need to be able to work on within quarterbacks would be just having that really effective release. A lot of times when I have quarterbacks come in the lab, they end up getting that ball pretty far back behind their head, and this seems like a thing that quarterbacks that play in the NFL just do not have a problem with. They don't end up with that ball too far back behind their head. Okay, so we really need to have a lot of ability to rotate both internally and externally within that shoulder in order to create the amount of movement that Derek Carr is here as quickly as he is. Because you can see right here, his shoulder's in neutral. He does a good job of loading it, but then from this position, it gets into a lot of external rotation, and he's really even furthering external rotation by bringing that elbow through as the ball is going back. Okay, and a lot of external rotation, and then from here he's able to stop that momentum going into external rotation at a very, very high speed, and then get it back going into internal rotation, and that's what's happening as he's coming through. Boom, a large amount of internal rotation there happening very, very quickly. Okay, so that's all shoulder breakdown. There's a lot of exercises you could do to kind of strengthen those muscles in there. You could check out on our PLC membership page. We have a lot of good things for that. But what's really important is to make sure to just understand that muscle group is going to be very important in building or becoming a good quarterback and really getting the most effective release. Okay. Another thing that we're looking at is how he's pushing off his back leg, how he's using his lower body. So when he loads, he's pretty straight up, but you could tell he's pushing a lot of weight down because you could see how that left shoulder is higher than the right shoulder. Okay, so he's pushing a lot of weight back, and then he opens up with that hip and has that. And as he's going through, we always talk about pushing down with the heel. You can see as he's pushing forward, he's pushing down with that heel and rotating those hips around in order to generate force within really the muscles in the outside part of the hip as well as the lower part of the spine. Really within top quarterbacks, it seems like there's some that really create a lot of force within the outside part of the hips. There's also a lot that create a lot of force here in that upper part of the hips. And I guess lower part of the core, and that seems like what Derek Carr wants to do is really create a lot of force and stabilization within that internal oblique, which is good because that is a muscle that controls stabilization of the spine. So now we'll go into a throw from the side here. Okay, you can see that load, how he's pretty straight up, but you can also see one of the things that he does is he uses a lot of whip. Again, I mean, time and time again, we just see the amount of anterior oblique activation. The muscles from the shoulder down, the right shoulder down to the left hip are very, very active as he's creating force. You can see he's very up top, and one of the things that he does to create force as well is you can see how he lowers his body down. See how he's lowering down into the throw and really generating force in a downward fashion, right? So he's up tall as he's loading, getting everything ready for the throw, and then as he releases, he lowers his body down, bends that front knee, pushes that front heel down into the ground, and comes all the way across with the throw. It's really a good release, and it's a little unique because of how straight up he stands from the beginning. So it's definitely something that I think you'd want to work on and try to replicate, especially if you have any trouble getting that ball up overhead. It's a good way to get that ball up overhead. Is really thinking about standing up as you're coming through and then coming down. So now, and that's when he's throwing more of like a bullet pass. Now we can see what he does when he's trying to throw more of a deep ball, which is something that like Patrick Mahomes does as well. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, it's that really big internal rotation of the knee. See how that knee really goes pushing inwards to generate force off that back leg. That's excellent job of doing that. Okay, and then another thing that they do is they do a good job of pulling back with that elbow. Okay, so see how that left arm is coming back to help generate that right arm coming forward. It's really a good job of using the rotation within the spine, that left spine, left shoulder, and generating force within the right arm. So you want to be able to push off that right leg, use that right hip, and while you're doing that, also pull that left shoulder back, that left elbow in as you're going up over top, and then really do a good job of getting that wrist up over top and coming down and through. Okay, and that goes a lot into that internal and external rotation again. And that's one of the reasons he's able to maintain a lot of accuracies. As you could tell, he really doesn't have to use a lot of effort, right? He's just using the same type of muscles that he was using in those underneath throws to now throw it, 32 35 yards probably altogether when it lands, and he's really not trying to, it doesn't seem like he's really trying to overstress in order to do it. He's just creating good fundamentals within the left hip and getting good external rotation. He's doing a good job pushing down with that front heel. And then now, because it's a deep ball, he's just using a little bit more rotation within the upper body in order to generate the throw, and really relying on that good range of motion within his shoulder to generate a lot behind the ball. Just an excellent pass, very accurate. And that's what happens when you're able to generate that force very easily, is now your accuracy goes up. You don't have to overstress in order to throw. The more force, the more power you have to put behind the ball, the more likelihood that you're going to, the accuracy is not going to be as good. It's the same thing with punching. It's the same thing with swinging. Golf club, baseball bat, is the easier that you could do it, the more efficient you could do it, then the more you're able to really focus in, zone in, and create that good, effective power. So thanks for watching the video. We have a lot of cool breakdowns within the YouTube channel, so I'd recommend you come in to check that out. We also have a bunch of different breakdowns of different quarterbacks. We also have a online membership where we go into some of the great exercises to do as a quarterback in order to strengthen your shoulder. Good exercise to do with bands, promoting both internal rotation as well as external rotation, and then also just great overall videos that can give you a better in-depth understanding of how it is to throw the football and best ways to generate force. So thanks for watching. We look forward to creating new videos. If you have any recommendations for other videos that you'd like to see, or the quarterbacks you'd like to see, even pitchers, fighters, we're going to get more into that as well. Please don't hesitate to let us know.